It's the first time the ICC is hosting the event on African soil, and it points to the fact that there's huge potential on the continent.
15 million households in Sub-Saharan Africa were consuming goods and services worth more than $5,500 in 2014. And we expect that to grow to over 40 million households by the year 2030. Clearly, these rising incomes are opening up many exciting new opportunities for trade.
Common cause, despite the current problems on the continent because of the commodity price issues and so on, that Africa has significant potential for business, for trade. And I think it's important that we're having it here because particularly from the point of view of exploiting a bit more intra-African trade, because even though we trade with different parts of the world, intra-African trade is still very low.
From a business point of view, the meeting is key.
In many instances where our own members or any of the South African businesses want to go across the borders in Africa and elsewhere, trade finance always becomes a big issue. So it's very, very important to make the networks and the connections.
Where economies and trade grow fast, the bankers will tell you demand for financial services rises even faster.
We see, for instance, that domestic credit to the private sector in Africa rose by 52.2% in 2014, not that far off from Latin America's 54.6%.
The opportunities are waiting to be exploited. A survey by the African Development Bank last year pointed to a potential bottleneck to economic development.
The market for trade finance was somewhere between $330 billion and $350 billion. According to that study, the market would have been substantially larger if a significant share of the financing requested by traders had not been rejected.
Everyone's aware of what the issues are in terms of intra-Africa trade, knowing your customer and compliance with all the rules and regulations. And the bankers here are trying to get that sorted out to try and get some kind of consistency. Hopefully it'll work. I'm Angelo Coppola for CCTV in Sandton, Johannesburg.